Welcome to the Call Your Shot podcast, your weekly sports recap podcast where we break down the hottest headlines, dissect the latest injuries, and serve up our own hard-hitting analysis of the past week in sports. But that's not all. We're not just here to talk about the past, we're here to predict the future as well. On the Call Your Shot podcast, we boldly predict the outcomes of the upcoming week's games.
Hello, everybody. Thank you for listening. This is the Call Your Shot podcast with your hosts, Alex Harris and Drew Moore. Today's episode is going to be much shorter as we've decided to move our weekly podcast to Wednesdays instead of Saturdays, just so there's more time between our podcasts and between, NFL weekend, things of that nature. But we're still going to get a little short mini episode in here for you guys today for you betting folks out there. So we're still going to get our Call Your Shot segments. We have decided, actually Drew has kind of decided, we're not sure if we're going to go forward with the player props.
Well, I personally have decided I am retiring from player props. One, because actually I just started working on a model as of last week because of the recent results that have been occurring with some of the player props that I've been calling. And you can call it bad luck too, like Lamar Jackson slinging that thing, he's about to go over his prop, and then all of a sudden he just decides, oh, actually my pinky toe hurts. I'm just gonna go out to the sideline and then not come back in the next game. Similar kind of thing happened early on in the season with Patrick Mahomes. There's been some other things where it's like the one time that the player prop doesn't go over, or they don't get like whatever yardage it was literally the one time when I decided that I was going to play the over or the under on it. And so, and then if it doesn't hit, sometimes it's just like, by a half a yard. And it's because like somebody just had they had a rushing touchdown or whatever. They had like a huge gain, and then they just decided, actually, we're gonna go for -5 yards on this play, and then they end up missing their prop by -5 yards because of that. But I mean, at
We're
the
like
end of the day,
80%
that is
on the Call Your
so what?
Shots, but the player props. So I said we're like 80% on the Call Your Shot games, but like the player props are holding us back.
Literally, yeah. So like, I think you've only missed like maybe
Oh, sorry, you're holding us back.
5 or so. Oh yeah, I guess it is me. I'm the problem. It is me. Um, but yeah, like it's mainly the props, honestly, because outside
Yeah.
of the props, I'm basically hitting at like 70 something percent. Um, so well, other than the freaking Jets game, that was
Yeah, that was just bad
whatever,
overall for both of us.
whatever. Can't win them all. But yeah, moral of the story is, I am retiring from doing props for at least 2 weeks until
And put yourself in
I
timeout.
work on my model. Yeah, I'm working on a model that'll figure that out. But
You're gonna listen to it though.
yeah, I currently don't have a model. Hmm?
Are you gonna listen to it though when you finish it?
Um, maybe I might.
He said, "Yet to be
But
determined."
I mean, the logic that I was going with before, like it logistically made sense. Like, you know, with especially with Jonathan Taylor's going against the worst rush defense in the league, and then he just like they just don't use him. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Moral of the story is we're moving on into our Call Your Shot segment for this week. Mr. Harris, what do you have for your your shot this week?
Yeah. We're just gonna flush last week. We're just gonna pretend like it didn't happen because I'm gonna go with the Seahawks. I have no idea what happened with them against the Ravens, and I just don't want to talk about it anymore.
They
But they
are
have a
who we
bounce back
thought they were.
opportunity. Okay. Well, the Lamar Jackson and the Ravens have just decided that everybody in the NFC when they play them is just JV competition at this point because now they're like 19 and
Mm-hmm.
1 and have destroyed the Lions that a lot of people thought were a top 5 team at the time a couple weeks ago and destroyed the Seahawks who many people thought were at least probably like a top 10 team at the time. So I'm not gonna. No, I think it just shows the level of competition. Kind of, I think the Seahawks are going to be a playoff team, but when it comes to the elite teams, may not be in that category. But that's not going to stop me from betting them against the Commanders this week. Bounce back opportunity. I think that I think that the spread is kind of high. Like, I don't know. Prior to last week, we were 5-2, but to be like 6-point favorites against the Commanders, that's a little concerning to me. So I would choose money line. I would just take it straight up. I would just choose the Seahawks. I'm not exactly sure what the money would be for that. The point spread does kind of concern me because sometimes we do let these teams hang around, like we did against the Cardinals, like we did against the
Hanging
Browns.
around.
So that's what I'm saying. So I don't want to have another one of those situations where we end up beating the Commanders by like 4 or something like that. So I would just take money line and just take the Seahawks straight up in this situation. I do have a pick.
Dude,
Said what?
you cannot take
I'm not.
that money
I'm sorry.
line. That is that
What is
is
it?
that is
I'll take an
let me scroll
alternative.
down
I'll
here.
take an alternative spread then because I don't want 6 is a little concerning too.
I was like, if one thing that I was thinking about doing is doing a parlay. And I don't give out parlays because I hate parlays, but parlays are a quick way to make you go broke. Anyways, um, you could do a parlay though, with the Seahawks and the Ravens, and that
Be
would
cute.
probably get you down around minus 110, minus 120 around there. Um, the yeah, it's minus 265. I mean, that's pretty steep for the money line,
Yeah,
but
I have another call your prop or call your shot game. It's different from the Ravens game, so I'd probably parlay it with that game. But yeah, or at least just do an alternative spread. I don't know. I'm saying we're at home, so we should be able to cover. We should be able to win by at least a touchdown. We're just
I mean,
this red zone, man.
you
We're
should do it,
addicted.
Alex.
We're
Don't you have
allergic to it
confidence in your
actually.
team? That's what you
Huh?
always say to me. Don't you have confidence in your team?
I haven't heard you make a vote for the Saints as a betting favorite
That's because
any game this
I
week
know them.
or this
That's
year.
because I know them.
Huh?
I know
You
who they
expect
are.
them to be a double-digit win team.
Yeah. They
Okay.
a lot of their games
Well,
are close and they're scary. I don't think they're gonna win.
fair enough. Fair enough. I'll just see. You know what? Fine. You know what? I'm gonna take Seahawks -6. There we go. I said it. Seahawks -6.
All
Currently
right.
2-0 on my Seahawks picks. So they haven't let me down. And
Mm.
like I said, I was not betting against them last week. So yeah. What would be your
Yeah, I
first?
mean, I was gonna say, I mean, like it makes sense. Like they just literally traded away their whole defense.
That's what I'm
And
saying. Wounded Tiger,
the
Drew. Wounded Duck.
oh my god, okay, wounded duck, yep. Um, and I mean that doesn't come into play though when it comes to trading away your whole defensive line. It comes into play when you fire the coach or like somebody gets like a major player gets hurt or that's not a quarterback when they get hurt that
You're right.
works. But if it's multiple players and stuff like that, it doesn't typically go well. But I do like Eric Bieniemy and the offense that he is running over there. That super elite quarterback that they have in Sam Howell. You
Better
know,
than Jacoby Brissett.
he's he's good. Like I said, he's good with a clean pocket. But now that the Seahawks kind of have a little bit more of a pass rush, with
Yeah.
old man Leonard Williams over there,
He's not even
um,
that old.
he's kind of old.
He's not.
Um, but yeah, so they could disrupt the passing game a little bit, but
He's 29.
I mean, I old for a
Okay.
defensive lineman, old.
What?
Um, but yeah, I think I mean also he's older than me, so it's basically has a foot in the grave. Anyways, I think that's a solid move, solid pick. I this is what I'm gonna do.
Mhm.
I'm gonna one of my picks is gonna be a parlay between the Ravens and the Seahawks because I don't think that either of those teams, one should lose in either of their games, and two will lose in either of those games. Um, so that'll be one of my collar shots. But along with that, on the Ravens side, I kind of like them just in general. I think they're also 6.5 currently. They are playing
That's
against the
scary.
Browns, and it that's all right. Divisional game, don't care.
Okay.
Um, this is my thinking, is that the first time that they played them, they they were missing 5 starters, and they also were missing multiple offensive starters as well. Along with that, it's one of those things where their offense wasn't clicking just yet. Like they just implemented a new offensive scheme, and they were starting to gel with the offense and trying to figure out who's going to be what part of the offense and how it's going to run and who it's going to run through. Obviously, it's going to always run through Mark Andrews, but who are the other receivers that you're going to use? Because you can't just check it down to Zay Flowers, like 14 targets a game, like he was getting at
OBJ
the beginning of the
got to tell you
season.
last weekend.
What?
OBJ got to tell you last weekend on his birthday.
Exactly. Exactly. So you got the rejuvenated, revitalized, and ready to conquer the day version of OBJ. And then you also have some little bit more help on the ground now with Edwards being the focal point, and that rookie running back too. I forgot his name, blanking on it right now, but um, they were super high on him coming into the season, and he finally made a little boom of a play, and that's kind of like the little um, the change of pace back right there for you too. And I think it's going to be. They mean they've shown that they are arguably the best team in the league right now. And going
Convincing.
against going against the Browns and Deshaun Watson, whatever he's got going on with his shoulder, I don't care. Even if he is healthy, I he wasn't good when he was out there. So uh, I'll take the Ravens in this one. If I go down because it's a divisional game and built-in familiarity or whatever, and all those other narratives, so be it. But I live and breathe. I've seen the Browns play, and I've seen the Ravens play, and my model also likes the Ravens in this game, and it's been doing well this year. So we're gonna go with that.
Yeah, definitely like the Ravens pick. Would probably feel a little bit more comfortable with that because the spread is similar to the Seahawks Commanders pick. Divisional game usually are closer than they're predicted, but I confidence in the Ravens. They've gone on a 4 or 5 game win streak and have actually beaten good talent, the Seahawks and the Lions over the past 2 weeks. So I have good confidence in that. My second pick would actually be the Lions or the Lions over the Chargers. Chargers are coming off of a little 2 game win streak after they lost the Cowboys a few weeks back, albeit to not that great of teams. And I still think that the Lions coming off a bye, they get David Montgomery back, are just a better team and will ultimately be able to beat the Chargers pretty convincingly. The spread's only 3, so I would take that with the spread. So Lions -7. As I mentioned, the Chargers are coming off wins against the Jets and the Bears. So I mean, those are wins, I suppose, but usually the bottom of the NFL. So I would have good confidence in that. So what are your thoughts on that, Drew? And what would your second pick be?
Yeah, actually, that was one of my other picks that I was going to choose. We can do this a different way, Mr. Harris.
Okay.
We can do the money line. All right. I don't
Oh
want to be
boy.
messing around with these things. I mean, you know me. A win is a win. All right. I don't care.
Okay.
I don't care how it looks. We want to do money line instead.
For this game,
Yeah, for the Lions,
I mean,
it's
I would rather
minus 145.
for your parlay.
No, 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 no. I'm saying like just in general. Instead of taking the -3 with the Lions, do the money line.
Okay, I'm cool
'Cause-
with that.
all right, because I don't want to be. Oh, it landed on 3, a game-winning field goal. No,
I mean, I do have
I mean,
confidence in them beating the Chargers by more than 3 points, but fair enough.
well, hey, you never know. All right, better be safe than sorry. All right, that's what
This
I
is
always say.
okay.
But yeah,
She
I
said, "I
mean,
ain't taking any chances this week."
exactly. But yeah, I like that pick. You know, it it's one of those where I mean, I tried to go against them on Sunday night. You know, it ended up not working out. Um, but this line also opened up as um the Chargers were the favorites. Or yeah, the Chargers were favorites, and then now they're underdogs. So this is a dog to fave line move, which is generally in any sport, it's good to take the favorite in that case scenario, because it takes a lot of uh, uh, not popular but professional sports bettors and large wagers to be able to move that money line from one side to the other. So that's one thing on their hands, and then also the rest advantage is a just a massive rest advantage that the Lions have coming
Definitely.
off the bye there. Teams off the bye do typically pretty well, and then also uh, the Chargers are going to be on a short week, and they're just I'm not liking the form that they're in right now.
They haven't beaten a good
Herbert
team.
exactly. Herbert still has his little splint thing going on with his finger too, and the Lions are finally healthy in their secondary. They have Branch back. Branch has been solid for them too, locking down the receivers. And then they're getting David Montgomery back as well, and he's my running back number one, which is sad to say. But
And hopefully they give
um,
Gibbs his touches. I think he proved himself in the Raiders game that he is useful and like capable of, being a between the tackles running back as well. So even with David Montgomery back, they're probably still not going to give him his full workload that he was used to his first 4 or 5 games where he was borderline
mhm,
a Pro Bowler. So I think it'll be more of a
Hall of
split
Famer.
backfield, legit.
Yep. Um, okay. So that is also my second pick. So I guess it's back over to you.
You know what? I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it one more time with the player prop. I haven't had as bad of a beat on some of the player props as you had.
No,
Some of them
you've
have
been
been
pretty
very
good.
unfortunate. It's just that Lamar Jackson one still hurts me. But it's not going to be Lamar Jackson. My pick is going to be CD Lamb. His over under on receptions 5.5. So I think that he'll be able to get 6 receptions against the Giants. He's coming off the
Oh yeah.
past 2 games where he has 25 targets overall with about nearly 20 receptions. So I feel pretty confident in that. It may be a similar script to last time where, the Cowboys are able to capitalize on defense and, they've played the past couple weeks where they've played some pretty good teams, so their defense hasn't really been able to thrive. So this may be one of those games, and they may not need to use CD as much, but I still think he'll be able to at least get his 6 receptions against the Giants. So that would be my player prop pick.
Mm-hmm. I like it. I like it. Yeah. I mean, um, I'm just looking at this line. It's just comical. 17 and a half point favorites. Like,
Yeah,
you know,
it's rude.
but at the same time, like there's no reason why it shouldn't be higher. And their secondary's banged up, and CD Lamb has been eating the past few weeks and stuff too. And
Mm-hmm.
it's I don't see any reason why it would let up now. They're finally letting Dak throw the ball a little bit more, have a little bit more say in the offense, which is good and bad because then it also puts them at risk for more turnovers, but it also gives them a chance to um, not be held down by Mike McCarthy's offense, which is not very good. Um, so, along with that, I'm I wasn't going to do it at all. Like it literally wasn't
If
even in
it's
my
a player
mind.
prop,
No. Not a
oh,
player
okay,
prop. I am
okay,
not doing that. I know better.
okay.
I- but I'm looking at this gigantic spread, and whoa, my voice sounded a little weird there. I'm looking at this gigantic spread, and should I
Do
do it?
not, do
Should I
not.
do it?
leave,
17
leave it
and a
alone.
half.
That might be
That
the biggest spread of the year.
if it's not, I don't know what game will
No,
be.
I'm saying like I think it is up to this point, but I
Oh,
don't think that
oh
there
yeah,
will be a bigger
definitely.
one.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean 87% of the money, 73% of the bets. That's 90 on the people are taking this on the money line. That's crazy. 95% of the money and 92% of the bets are on the money line. Um, my God, that's
Do not
crazy.
just leave
I
well enough
dude,
alone, Drew.
it looks we're doing
It
it.
does not. Okay,
We're doing it.
all right,
All
all
right.
right. I do not
And
condone
Cowboys to win
this.
the division. All right.
Okay,
Cowboys win the
what?
division. Cowboys win this game.
You want to
Yep,
double
you
down
heard
on
me.
that division pick? We already have the Eagles, Cowboys in the division, so might as well just
I
double
would not
down
like
on
to.
it.
No,
Okay,
I'm good.
fair enough.
But I do think they did show that they can compete with Philly. So that was a good sign.
Yeah, we'll
That they didn't
probably
get absolutely blasted. So
Yeah, we'll get more into it probably on Wednesday, but that game was definitely a very entertaining game. The Cowboys did show that they are capable of competing with the Eagles. It just kind of feel like goes to show that the Eagles are just a little bit better because even though I feel Cowboys probably should have won that game. Eagles made a
yeah.
lot of mistakes, and at the end of the day, the Eagles were able to when all the rubber needed to be thrown, the Eagles were able to get it. And Dak actually played phenomenally. Like he played great game.
Mhm.
Just kind of unfortunate, 1 yard stops at the goal line, not getting in 2-point conversion. A lot of small things that added up for the
Mhm.
Cowboys.
Um I I'm doing it. I'm doing it. 17 and a half. Give it to me.
Fair enough.
I have this line at 22. so so like,
No
and
Darren Waller
typically
for the Giants, too. I mean, it is all looking bad. Wounded Tiger.
like yeah, and typically when I have like a 4 point margin on a game, that's like the Goldilocks zone. Like those games have been hitting at like 85 to 90% over the past 3 years, and I it's in that zone. It's literally 4.5. Like I gotta do it. I'm legally
Fair enough.
obligated. Okay.
Okay,
You
he
said
said
to
I'm
listen to my
legally
model.
obligated.
You said to listen to my model. I'm gonna listen to
I
it.
said
So
listen to the new one.
okay. I mean, this is the other model that's been working the past few years, but so we're doing it.
Fair enough. Fair enough. Did you have another one other than that, or are those
Um.
all of your?
Oh, Mr. Harris, do
Oh
you not
boy.
know me?
Yep.
um. We're not gonna get too crazy, but we're gonna get a little crazy out here.
You just
Um.
got crazy with the Cowboys pick.
Okay. Yeah, that's true. Fair enough.
You should just
But
do your
we're
alternative line then. You should just do 22.5 if you're gonna do it. Just I don't even know what the money would be
I'll do
on that,
20 and a
but
half. I'll do 20 and a
okay.
half.
Okay.
That
For
way, if they
everybody
win by
watching,
three
please do not
touchdowns,
listen to Drew in this situation. I'm just gonna disclaim.
20 and a half. If you have a model that you trust and that you know and has shown to be profitable over time, trust your model. Don't make any changes to it once it has been shown to be profitable and reliable. Keep doing it, keep following it, keep trusting it.
Did the model pick the Jets last week, or is that just you?
Did it? Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
And I
Jets
mean,
look
so
like a
did
high school football team on
that's all right.
offense.
You know what? That's another one of my picks this week. Is going to be the Jets.
Who do they play?
They play the Raiders.
I mean,
They are currently
Raiders looked much better last week.
and that's the thing, is that was a Super Bowl for them last week. Like
Okay,
they're smoking cigars in the locker room.
legit.
They took off
This
two
is for
days of
coach.
practice this week. Yeah, like they took 2 days off of practice this week and everything too. Like, I, come on, this guy has literally never called plays in his life, and you're telling me he's gonna go in there against one of the best defenses. Like, say what you will about the Jets offense, but you're telling me they're gonna go in there and light up the scoreboard against the Jets, who has like one of the top 5 defense? No,
No,
absolutely not. Um, and then you got like along with that, you have a rookie quarterback going into that game as well. I mean, yeah, I have to. And it's also not to prove a point, but it's also just a thing where it's like the Jets are bad. Don't get me wrong, they're terrible on
offensively.
offense at least. Offensively, yes, but at the same time, there are points throughout the season where you can find value on these bad offensive teams or bad defensive teams too, or just bad teams in general. Like the Panthers, I had the Panthers the other night. They were 3.5, landed on 3. Sounds good to me. All cash the same. They don't have to win; they just have to cover. So that's one of the things, is finding value on these teams that are either overpriced or underpriced. And right now, the Jets on prime time just looked absolutely atrocious, whereas the Raiders went in there, lighting up the joint, literally lighting up a joint in the locker room, multiple that would be for them, and uh, I that's it, point blank period.
Yeah,
So
if you get to a point where you need Zach Wilson to throw the ball 50 times, you probably are gonna lose.
yeah,
So
yep,
yeah, getting sacked 8 times, kind of felt
hmm
bad for him out there. It's just the thing. I don't even think the Jets offense is bad per se, like talent wise. I just don't think that Zach Wilson is capable of, you know, being a threat to many defenses who just choose to stack the box against, you know, Brees Hall and then have a lot of pressure on Zach Wilson. He doesn't get any time to throw the ball, and then just ends up targeting Garrett Wilson 13 times because that's pretty much all they have is Garrett Wilson on slants because that's all they have time for. So unless Brees Hall
literally.
breaks one out, their defense is gonna need to play very well and put them in a lot of favorable positions and good fields. So yeah,
hmm
which they probably can do
Along with
against the
that,
Raiders.
yep. I also like the under in that game too, because I don't see any offense really happening. Um,
You ever
so
seen a 4-6 game scoregami?
literally, exactly. Something like that will happen. Um, and then let's see where we're gonna go here. We're gonna go with the already had the Ravens in there. We're gonna go with my Nolans Saints.
Wow.
So,
Breaking
yep.
news.
It
First
okay,
time.
or whatever. So we talked about this last week. How Josh Dobbs isn't the fix for the Vikings, right? Like, and he's
Cap.
like a bottom tier dude.
Cap.
He's a bottom tier.
Rocket scientist.
Oh my god.
Photographic
Okay,
memory.
yeah. Props to him for coming in and going against Arthur Smith, who was like, it takes time to build an offense and get the quarterback to have get the scheme down and everything. Dude literally comes in there, doesn't even know a play. Like the coach is telling him to play on the in his earpiece. They only have 15 seconds before they shut off the comms to the quarterback, and he's just like basically rattling it off the play, telling you what the routes are for each running or each wide receiver, and he goes out there, gets the job done, makes
Falcons
Art
should be
Smith look
ashamed,
ridiculous.
honestly.
Literally, yeah, like it's yeah.
Like shout
So
out to Dobbs, but I mean, yeah, and he's been proven to actually he's a mediocre. He's better than we thought he was going to be. Much better than we thought he was going to be, and he actually has a decent amount of mobility. I don't think people thought coming into the season with the Cardinal situation, everybody expected them to be a bottom of the tier team, which they respect kind of are, but at the same time, they were in a lot more games than people gave them credit for. Joshua Dobbs played much better than people gave him credit for, which is why the Vikings traded for him, and now he got a win against the Falcons last week, and that's why he's going to beat the Drew Saints this week.
okay,
Continue.
so
I almost want
okay,
to bet you on this game. I'm not going to lie. I
do
don't
it,
want to.
do
I
it,
know.
Alex, do it right now.
No. It's one of those things like I'll be happy if or when it happens, but I'm not gonna. I'm not stupid.
Okay,
Give
so
me some points. We can talk.
no,
Okay.
the
What? Why?
why would I do that? I'm taking the money
Because
line on
that's.
this game. That's
Oh
why.
my god. Oh my gosh.
Dude,
Okay.
it's like they're like two and
It's
a half point
3.
favorites. It's 3 now.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'm still taking the
No.
money line. Okay. It could be okay. If I was
give
gonna say
me.
it could
Give
be seven.
me. Give me.
It's
Give me
still two
5.
and a half. It's still two
What's
and a
your
half.
model say?
It says that it should be the Saints that win this game going away comfortably. No, but let me see here.
Yeah. I want whatever. I want the
Um,
points that your model says. That's what I want.
no, I'm not giving you that. No. Then there literally be no value in the play.
That's not my problem.
Let's see where. Oh,
Yeah.
there they are.
Last time I checked, it was 3 right now.
It's two and a half.
Okay.
I have it as Saints by 4.
Well.
So that's what I'm taking is money line. But like I was saying before, I was so rudely interrupted. Is that Joshua Dobbs is going against this just elite Saints defense,
Mhm.
and and we talked about this last week. Just in case you forgot, um, he's currently Pro Football Focus ranked 23rd out of all qualified quarterbacks that have played this year in terms of rating,
That's
and
better than
only
last week, I think.
well, no, there's
Yeah.
27 qualified quarterbacks right now.
Ah.
Yeah, so not good. And and the only quarterbacks that are currently above him or below him, I should say, Gardner Minshew, who is rounding out the bottom of the tier right there. And then there's Bryce Young, Desmond Ritter, Zach Wilson, and then there's Josh Dobbs. Nice. Um,
Hey.
and then that's not good company to be in. So, like, you're telling me you have like you're literally only going to be able to throw the ball to TJ Hawkinson, and the Saints typically do a great job at covering if they have like one wide receiver that they can go to, because Jefferson's still going to be out. They're going to throw it to
Correct.
Addison. At least try to throw it to Addison. Lattimore is going to be locking that ass up. Pause. And they're not going to be able to move the ball, I don't think, and not going to have a ground running game to do anything. The Saints are typically good on the ground, anyways. Madison's probably
Yeah.
not going to be able to move the ball. They're not going to be able to throw the ball. It's a great story. Don't get me wrong. Like I kudos to the dude. being a rocket scientist out here, winning games and everything, and making coaches look ridiculous, like they don't know what they're doing. But Dennis Allen's a defensive guy. I think it's going to take a lot more than you know one one week of practice for him to be able to beat the Saints with a team that he literally doesn't even know the players' names on. Um, so
That's fair enough. I mean, like, I think that goes to show. I don't know if that goes to show more about the Vikings or more about your Saints, because you guys are 2.5 point favorite right now against a backup quarterback without their best receiver and without their backup running back. Justin Jefferson's out. Cam Akers tore his Achilles again, just very unfortunate.
mhm.
Now against the Vikings, and now he did with the Rams a couple years ago. And you guys are still 2.5 point favorites. So, like you mentioned, TJ Hawkinson, Jordan Addison are bust. That's basically it. Sometimes KJ
Mhm.
Osborne acts like a receiver, sometimes he doesn't, and it's going to be Alexander Madison. That's basically what they got against the Saints team that you guys should win this game very convincingly. But the
Yep.
problem is that you guys are only 2.5 point favorites, which is my concern. Which this is
Yeah.
why I'm saying, like, if you want to give me some points, I
No,
mean,
I'm not giving you anything. See, well, okay, so this is also this is probably why the line is so low, is that yeah, like the Saints have all these weapons and everything too, but they
same
haven't
record
been able
too.
to exactly, yeah, they haven't been able to utilize any of those weapons that they've had, or that they have, I should say. Um, and they're now starting to finally use Taysom Hill in the goal on the goal line, as they should have been doing this whole time. He's literally unstoppable on the goal. Like you're telling me
It's
you hand the ball off
gross.
to that guy. Like I don't care how many touchdowns he vultures from Kamara. If it means that we're scoring touchdowns, then so be it. Goddamn it. And now, not only that, he, I believe he got more rushing attempts um than Taysom, or than Alvin Kamara. So like
On the goal line, or just period?
I believe period, if I'm not mistaken. Let me
Last
double check that.
last game.
Yeah. Let
Uh,
me double check that here.
that would
But
be
yeah, I
that would
mean,
be very weird.
exactly. But in terms of what the Saints can do, they are definitely limited when it comes to offensive production, and mainly because of our good old friend Derek Carr. Um, because I mean, when it comes to pressure, his QB rating, or passer rating, goes down to 66.9, whereas his
Wow,
clean pocket passer rating is up at 99, which still isn't the best, but it's better than 66.9, which is atrocious. So, um,
you're right about Taysom Hill. He had 11 carries to Alvin Kamara's 9 on much better efficiency as well. So,
yep, RB1.
Mister Do It All,
Yep.
Swiss Army knife.
hmm
Fair enough. Yeah.
Um, so there's that one. We'll go rapid fire with these other ones here. Um, there's only three more. So Packers and Steelers under. Don't really have to talk too much about that one. Two terrible offenses going against decent defenses. Steelers are a good defense. Packers are, they've seen better days on defense, but they're
Comparable.
also, yeah, but they're also going against the ineptitude of an offense that is the Steelers.
JV
So
football.
exactly. Um, So the total, anytime that there's a total that has been under 40, the totals have gone 15-9 this year, 62%. Um, and also you have two slow
That's so
offenses.
bad.
Uh, what?
We don't expect either of you guys to score more than 20 points. That's so bad.
I mean, like, do you expect
I
them to score
understand
that
it,
much?
but no. But
Yeah, like,
I
I
mean, the
mean,
Steelers have been better over the past
yeah,
couple weeks. The defense obviously puts them in favorable positions, and their offense, they've gotten the rushing game going a little bit. So we'll
yeah,
see.
true. Um, but yeah, so that's that right there. Taking the under in that game. Um, and then we have the Denver Broncos going against the Buffalo Bills. I'm not taking any
Let's
side in that
ride.
game, because that's no, hell no. That's gross. But I'm going to take the under in that game too. for more of the same reason. Two slow offenses, and Denver is actually the slowest offense in the league. And then there's also wind. It's going to be about, I think it's like 11 to 15 miles an hour of wind during the game. And this is one of the systems from 2021. 64% of the time the under has hit when there's at least 10 miles an hour or more of wind. And then if it's also a conference game and there is increased amount of wind up to 10 miles an hour, that has gone up to 72% to the under. So those two factors right there, give me the under. It's
Man,
also,
what happened
um,
with the Bills, man?
I mean,
What
exactly.
is,
Um, Diggs is also hurt or banged up, I should say. He's
yeah,
questionable for the
he's
game.
supposed to play. Yeah.
He should play. I hope he plays for my fantasy football team's sake because he is literally all I have. So,
Oh my gosh, hold up. We got
um,
into it. We got into it. Again, we'll get more into it on Wednesday. But like again, what's going on with the Bills, man? They lost to the Bengals, so now they're on. I think they're like 1-3 or 1-2 over their past few games, and
mhm,
they are currently outside looking in from the playoff position. They're eighth right now, and if the playoffs were to start today, they would be out. The Pittsburgh Steelers and the Cleveland Browns are both ahead of them, and they have the same
mhm.
record as the Minnesota Vikings right now. So
Yeah, I mean, the injury bug like just absolutely wiped them out off the face of the earth this season. It's
I don't
it's
care.
really tough to see,
That
dude. Like you literally lose your three top like your top three defensive players. You're telling me your team's gonna be the same? Like, no.
No,
It
but they're
makes a
not. It's
difference
not
for
like they're
sure.
not able to. Yeah, it makes a difference for sure. The defense hasn't been as good because of the injuries and stuff like that, but they're not
Hmm.
scoring. They had eight. They put up 18
That's
points
it.
against the
Yeah.
Bengals, so it wasn't. And they held the Bengals to 24 points. So it's not necessarily the defense
Hmm.
that's holding them back. It's Josh Allen, the turnovers, them not moving the ball. They've scored 18 points last week. They scored 24 points the week prior, and then they scored 25 points against the Patriots, but then they scored 14 points against the Bills. So they and then even
Hmm.
keep going back, only 20 points against the Jags. So over the past few weeks, they've only averaging around 20 points. So
Yeah. They have like while Josh Allen still does grade out pretty well, like he's I believe let me see here. He's actually second when it comes to Pro Football Focus quarterback ratings. However, it
great for
doesn't
fantasy.
look like that. Yeah, I was like, it doesn't look the part. um, and he's also been dealing with his shoulder thing too. So like he has that going on. Like, you can make all kinds of excuses for the guy, but at the end of the day, the offense isn't able to move the ball like you were saying, and I think it's just goes back to like the uh what's his name on the Giants, basically the quarterback whisperer. Can't think of his name. Dabo, not Dabo. What's his name? Yeah,
Mike Dayball,
yeah. There we go.
uh,
Brian Daboll. There we go. Um,
Brian Dayball.
yep. Quarterback whisperer, and he was basically able to turn around Daniel Jones. He was able to turn around um, uh, Josh Allen as well. And I mean,
Mm-hmm.
ever since it's what's that song? Since you've been gone. Basically, yeah, like that's what it's been though. Like yeah, they haven't been able to have the same success on offense. Granted, neither have the Giants, but they're also just bad. So they're just lacking
Right.
talent. And the
Yeah,
Bills
they
aren't
weren't
lacking
a
talent. They're just
Super Bowl
lacking
favorite.
yeah, they're just lacking direction of the offense and not having a good enough scheme to scheme players open other than Stephon Diggs who just gets open because he's just good. So um
Agreed.
but yeah. Last but certainly not least is going to be um the 49ers coming off the bye here. And I talked about this earlier in terms of buying teams at the absolute bottom of the of the of their value and selling high at the top of their value. This is one of those case scenarios where I don't think you can buy any lower on the 49ers. Well, unless of course they lose this
Three
week.
game losing streak
Yep.
against
Um
bad teams.
yeah, exactly. So
Well, I mean,
I
not
think
bad teams, but yeah.
mediocre teams. Um
Yeah.
but yeah, I think that the 49ers are going to go in there and get this W. I do believe that that having Debo definitely helps helps Brock Purdy turn around his numbers
Mm-hmm.
because he's been looking quite abysmal. I was going to say trash. I don't know if he's trash down at Josh Dobbs level, but he has been looking quite abysmal over the past few weeks. And also the addition of getting Trent Williams back too is definitely going to make a difference. Um, but yeah, I mean, I think that the addition of Chase Young on this defensive side is going to make all the difference in the world because when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback, listen to this. So, in terms of pressure on the quarterback, the matchup on the offensive line compared to the defensive line for the San Francisco 49ers might not sound good. So, the 49ers have a negative 13% disadvantage compared to um, Jacksonville's defensive line. You go down a little further. San Francisco 49ers have uh, a plus 63% advantage compared to the Jacksonville Jaguars offensive line. So 63% advantage on the defensive line to Jacksonville's offensive line, compared to only a minus 13% disadvantage on their offensive line compared to Jacksonville's defensive line. I mean, I'm no statistician, but that don't sound good to me. And
Yeah.
And when it comes to getting pressure on the quarterback, the 49ers, as if they need any more help,
Right.
the
That sounds
49ers are
like
one of the
Pokemon.
best in the league at, yeah, exactly, at doing that. And Trevor Lawrence, when he gets pressure on him, goes from a passer rating of 101 with a clean pocket down to 67.1 with a when he's under pressure. So makes all the difference in the world when you get pressure on Trevor Lawrence. One of the best things that 49ers do is get pressure on the quarterback. Book it.
So
49ers,
you're taking the 49ers, the spread? I think it's 3.
you know me, Alex.
Or you
You
just
know,
straight money line?
money line.
I mean,
If
that's fair enough
if
because the
it's
spread's not that bad anyway. So I would
yeah,
take that too. And yeah, as we
yeah, it's
mentioned, the
like
49ers are coming off of 3 losses, going to their
mm-hmm.
bye, getting healthy. As you mentioned, we're getting Deebo Samuel back. Christian McCaffrey should be fully healthy as he had been dealing with injuries with his oblique. Obviously, Trent Williams will be more healthy, and the addition of Chase Young cannot hurt the defensive line, which is already the best in the league. That hasn't been their problem. Other than the Bengals, they haven't given up more than 23 points, which is to the Rams. And other than that, they haven't given up more than 17 points. So I think mainly the problem has been offense, which again, I think will be better with Deebo Samuel when they have the full array of talent for Brock Purdy. And as you mentioned, when Trevor Lawrence is pressured, he is not the same quarterback. And I think one of the big notes for the Jaguars this season is they've been able to pass the ball and they've been able to run the ball a good amount with ETN, which has allowed Trevor Lawrence to more options and to be pressured less as he's able to spread the ball around more to Evan Ingram, Ridley, and Zay Jones, as well as Christian Kirk. So I definitely think that there'll be more pressure. I don't think ETN will have as many gaps and run lanes as he's had lately. So I think that overall, I probably would choose the 49ers in this situation too. I would probably take the spread, but I understand you
Okay,
wanting to
whatever,
only take money line in this situation. It's not my pick.
whatever.
So who am I to
Yep,
judge?
I guess. Also on the in terms of the rushing yards and stuff too. Not gonna take any props because I don't do that anymore. But I will make a note about it. Food for thought. That's what mom would say. Um,
Yep.
is that they have a minus 20 disadvantage on the offensive line compared to defensive line when it comes to running the ball for the Jacksonville Jaguars. So if they're looking to move the ball, I mean, it's not going to be by the passing offense. So it's
Exactly.
going to have to be by the running offense, but I don't know if that's going to be looking
I
too
will
well.
say I don't have much confidence in that either.
hmm So
But again, it could be one of those things where the Jaguars surprise us, like when you were high on your Bills and then they destroyed them in London.
just
We'll see.
crashed and burned. Yep.
Yeah, if the
Um,
49ers go 0-4, that's a problem.
that is probably the most
I mean, I
concerning
love it as a
thing.
Seahawks fan, but
Okay, that's fair. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's really all the picks I got. I basically just covered the whole board there. But now that I'm not doing any player props for the time being, that is, um,
Mm-hmm.
I think that that about does it. Do you have anything
Fair
else?
enough. No, I think that's pretty much it. We said that this was going to be a shorter episode. It ended up being a little longer than we expected, but that's not a problem. So, as we mentioned, we are going to start having our weekly podcast on Wednesday. Just gives us more time between our podcast coming out and then the NFL weekends and things like that. So I think we'll be able to talk about the full array of the week, and then also kind of be able to look forward a little bit for the upcoming weekend as well. So we're going to try that for a while here going forward. So unless you have anything else that you wanted to get into, Drew.
No. Quick shout out to the Denver Museum. Got this shirt here. It's the element of indecision. It's I don't know em. So there you go.
Okay. 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 Next
Yep.
episode is going to come out in a few days on Wednesday. We are going to be covering the NFL. So it'll be basically the last 2 weeks of the NFL as well as the last 2 weeks of the NBA. So make sure to be ready for that, guy. Other than that, this has been the Call Your Shot podcast with your hosts, Alex Harris and Drew Moore. Thank you for listening, everybody. As always, you can find our links, or you can find us wherever you can find your podcast, whether it be on Spotify, podcast app, or anywhere else. We are also on YouTube. And for those of you watching on YouTube, make sure to check our links at the bottom of the description for our social medias, our Instagram, and check out our Instagram. Make sure to give us a follow as well. So we'll post some pretty cool content there. So anything else, Drew?
No, that's pretty much it. Make sure to like, rate, subscribe. All the cliche things to say. One thing that actually helps the most is downloading the podcast. A lot of people don't know that, but that's one of the metrics that people look at the most when it comes to productivity of your podcast. So,
fair enough. So we will see you guys on Wednesday.
peace.